my chart here from last week. I hope you still remember we talked about the subject change here. Okay, I said Picasso was a key here to bringing this subject and the artist back together, from Ad Reinhardt's black canvas with no subject back down to the artist has a subject. Because when this happens, we lose society. Society is totally gone and lost by the time Ad Reinhardt's black canvas came out. I mean, forget it. They don't know what artists do anymore, and they probably don't even care. So I'll show you what. If you took 100 people, there's a picture of Ad Reinhardt. You go and you take 100 people and you say, do you know who that is? 100 people, these are random, 100 people would say no. This is back in, say, in 1960 when he was painting it. They'd say, no, I don't know who he is. Say, okay, his name is Ad Reinhardt. And they say, okay, that still doesn't ring a bell. Well, he's an artist. 100 people still say, really? I don't know that. Okay. So he's an artist. Here's reproductions of 50 different paintings. Can you match Ad Reinhardt with his paintings? One of them in here is a black painting. 0 out of 100 could pick it out. So, in other words, the general public is totally lost. Have no idea what's going on in art. And so I was saying here, Picasso was a change, like Al Gore. This is something different that happened to art with Picasso. Here's Picasso. You take 100 people, say, you know who that is? Maybe 50, 60 of them would say, yeah, that's Pablo Picasso. His picture was on Life magazine. He was pretty popular back in the 50s and 60s. So people knew who he was. General people knew who he was. So they say, okay, that's Pablo Picasso, all right. Do you know what he does? 100% would say, yeah, he's a painter. He's an artist. 100%. I think everyone knew the name Pablo Picasso meant painter. Okay, so you point to these 50 paintings over here and say, can you pick one of his paintings out? Probably, maybe one, but more likely 0 could pick out one of his paintings out of 50 other paintings that were over here. Do you see? See the difference? Here they had no idea who he was, what he did, and when they told them what he did, they would know they couldn't pick out his paintings. Everybody knew who Picasso was and what he did, but they didn't know actually what his paintings looked like. So his paintings, his subject matter was not very popular. Okay, so that fits in here. So what happens now is that because Picasso was so well known as an artist, people will now, hopefully that will be the turning point when people will begin to go to the next step to find out what these painters do. Now, they understand the notion of a painter and what kind of person he is, so now they have to start beginning to see what these painters do. And that will start pulling the people, society back in. Just like Al Gore's movie should get everybody to start thinking green. Have you been following that? So you see, it's important now that the artist has the public's attention, then the artist starts to show some painting. The problem with Picasso, of course, is his subject matter. He was so famous that he never painted anything. He lost his ability to paint anything different and new. He was kind of stuck with what he was like. He called himself a prisoner. He just, he never got out and never did anything. And his paintings, because they were selling for so much money and people were, stealing his stuff. There was all kinds of crazy things going on. He just, he kind of went around in circles with his subject matter. He started out with a variety of subject matter, but pretty soon, in his older age, he didn't know what to paint anymore. But that's because of his fame and money. That's what ruined Picasso. So what I'm saying is now, without the money and without that fame and fortune thing that screwed up Picasso, the artists now have a chance to settle things down, to start being artists again, like the cave painter back here, to just observe, select your own subject, paint it, and try to connect that artist, that triangle, the artist, the subject, and the aficionado, or the connoisseur. You see, here, Picasso lost that connoisseur. He didn't have that connoisseur. But now, because he had the other two links, once we get the other two links going here, we'll start to get that. So that's what you artists should be thinking about. Don't think about this up here. If you think by painting what the society wants you to paint, what's popular, what makes money, if you think that's going to save your day, let me read something to you. In France, during the 19th century, artists who studied at the École des Beaux-Arts filled the salon with paintings depicting subjects that were dedicated by the taste of the bourgeoisie and their academy professors. Eventually, a group of artists known as the Impressionists rebelled. They insisted on selecting their own subject. In the end, they won out, and those artists who had enjoyed the praise and profit from the bourgeoisie they served so loyally found themselves and their paintings in the dustbin of art history. So, don't think about what popular subject matter and what will sell and how to make money at your art, so you start doing a certain thing all the time. You have to be independent from all that. You're the artist. You select your subjects yourself, and if you're true to your vision, you will paint something that will be worthy. And then you will start pulling in the people again, and they can clean up these museums, and everything will work. We'll get back in the swing of things here. So, and I'm going to talk next week more about the subject. I'm going to talk about how it fits and how you work and what's involved in that, and how best way to choose a subject and what to look for and so on. So we'll do that next week because I'm out of time right now. So go to my website, come back next week and send me an email, and we'll pick it up from there.